Hello, my name is Brenner Shergill, and I serve as the Residence Life Coordinator for Riverview Hall. I'm here to provide information on the RA position. So, do something extraordinary. Let's see. Okay, so an overview of what I'll be talking about. First, I'll start off with a little bit of introduction to the department and stuff, and then the role of the RA, and then requirements, timeline, and application if you choose to apply. So starting off with introductions, who we are as a department, right? Our mission is to offer various and diverse living and learning experiences. University housing is an integral part of an education mission of Sacramento State. As such, the department strives to create a welcoming and stimulating environment that promotes students to participate in co-curricular activities that promote life and leadership skills, social responsibility, and academic success. The communities we have here in housing include traditional first year halls, which includes Desmond, Draper, Jenkins, Sierra, and Sutter. Our first year, our one community, Riverview Hall, which has which has first year rooms available, and these can fluctuate between singles, doubles, and triples. But we also have upper division singles, what we call our pods here as well. And our upper division apartment suite styles are the American River Courtyard, which we also call it AMC, and then Hornet Commons as well. And upper division basically means a non-first year student, anybody who's taken more than 30 units. In our loft style, all your students have the upper east side lofts. Some of these buildings this for the following year may be contingent with the pandemic in mind, right? It may depend on our occupancy numbers, the type of housing that's provided. This year, currently, Riverview is currently all first year students, right? So there may be slight changes on the type of students and the type of housing that we provide as well, depending on the need of our students. The role of the RA. It's not a job, it's a lifestyle. It really is. And I say this because it's not your traditional, you work for 3 hours here, 5 hours on this day. You kind of live where you work, you get a meal plan, right? So you eat here, and if you see any policy violations or something, it is expected that you confront those and address those as appropriately trained, right? So this might also be something to think about with your work-life balance, right? But again, there's a lot of perks of it, right? You can be walking by and you can talk to somebody for 10 minutes, right? And again, you're building community, right? You could be going to the DC, which is our dining commons over here, right? There's a lot of different things, and this position does fall within the student affairs community. And yeah, you can see all those words that best describe that position. Again, really powerful words in there. What you gain by doing this position is room and board compensation. And that could fluctuate depending on which area you're working on, and I'll get to that a little bit later. An opportunity to build community, interpersonal skills, leadership skills, conflict and crisis intervention, mentorship. This could be for your residents, right? Stress and time management skills, in-depth knowledge of campus resources, celebrating diversity and inclusivity, priority registration, which is a huge asset to have as a lot of students are competing for classes, class schedules, right? And lifelong friends as well. And overall, all these things can really make an impact on the experience that you have here at Sacramento State. Hornet Commons and UEL, right? Just so you know, for their compensation, what it looks like, as I mentioned earlier, it is a little bit different. You work a minimum of 17 hours per week. You can have a shared room or private room with $650 each semester in flex cash, and a 40% discount on your rent at UEL, or 50% discount on rent at Hornet Commons. You have an opportunity to work as a desk attendant. Actually, you are required to work as a desk attendant. You get paid for all hours that you work, $15 an hour. This includes training. Priority registration is provided. And the reason this is provided is to ensure that you are available, you have availability in your schedule to meet during your staff meeting time. This was usually determined by your supervisor, but our standard times, our preferred times are Wednesdays from 3 to 5 p.m. Community building, policy enforcement, administrative responsibilities are essential to the role. Keep in mind, you do receive 2 to 3 weeks of extensive training and preparing you to make sure that you're prepared for the position. Full year school commitment, right? No moving out during break. So we're not looking for applicants. If you're a senior and you need only the fall semester, we prefer that you have the whole year where you're taking classes, and you must be a role model and abide by all policies. For university housing services, again, this is more over here where, yeah, it's just UHS, right? Single meal or single room and meal plan is provided as your compensation. You work approximately 20 hours a week within the leadership position. That fluctuates depending on if you're duty or not, right? And other times throughout the year. You must be enrolled in at least 9 units each semester, and you must maintain a 2.0 grade point average. That's for your semester and previous semester, and also your cumulative. Prior to registration, again, for staff meetings, right? Working on similar things such as community building, policy enforcement, and administrative responsibilities are essential to the role. You also must abide by all UHS policies. Requirements, timeline, and application. Requirements and time commitment, cumulative and semester GPA 2.0, we said this earlier. But again, a 2.5 is preferred by hiring supervisors. Again, thinking about the additional time commitment, right? If you're around the 2.0 barely commitment, that could be a concern for the hiring committee, as like, just balancing, just figuring out how you're going to balance the additional time. Again, your student first when you're in this position, right? Your student first, and then this position comes next. So that's something to keep in mind as well. Must not be on disciplinary probation at time of the job starting. You'll have about roughly of 20 hours of work, right? And time commitment, and you must be enrolled in 9 units each semester, right? Ethical decision making, being a good team player, that goes a very long way. Invested in genuinely helping people, right? If helping somebody is not your forte, maybe this is not the right position for you, because a lot of it, like there's a lot of like your interactions with your residents, right? If you don't want to talk to people, if you don't want to build a community, this role will be very challenging for you. And willingness to learn and grow. Again, just trying to better yourself and also make a positive impact in the community you're in. There is a requirement of summer and winter training. This is typically in August, beginning of August, goes through most of the month with the move in. And winter training is typically a week before classes start in January. You will have weekly staff meetings. These are meetings that I mentioned that most of the time happen on Wednesdays from 3 to 5. But there is some flexibility within that as approved by your supervisor. Resident interactions, these go on all the time. This could look different for in a virtual environment, right? It's just more virtual interactions, but you still run into people in person as well. One-on-ones, these are meetings you have with your supervisors to check in with you. These can happen on a weekly or bi-weekly basis, and maybe 30 minutes or an hour, depending on your community and your preference, and also your supervisor's preference as well. Professional development opportunities and workshops, right? We want to continue to develop the RAs here and making sure that they are very marketable in the workforce afterwards, right? There's not a career or job that I can think of that an RA wouldn't be able to have some transferable skills, right? I've challenged people to think of one before, and nobody can think of anything where you don't get transferable skills from this position, regardless of your major or career you want to go into. On-call responsibilities, holding the phone. This is really for any emergencies, assisting students with any needs, community needs, right? A lot of times you do work with our desk attendants if you're not already serving in the role when you're on call, and because they're the eyes and ears of front of the building, you get to work with them very closely. Community building, policy enforcement, programming, and administrative responsibilities, and also outside employment. Involvement must be first discussed for certain roles. Peer health educator and peer mentor positions will not be approved. How to apply the materials that you need. our resume and your application. And the application process is in-depth info session, individual interview, and then you will also be required to do a RA portfolio. And you can apply today on Handshake with that job number. And you can also look at Hornet Housing under the Employment and Leadership tab. And the position closes on December 6th at 11:59 p.m. The application timeline, again, I just mentioned, it's Wednesday, December 6th at 11:59. Is when the application is due. On December 22nd, candidates will be notified if they're offered enrollment in the RA class. The first week or February, new RA info sessions will occur. On February 9th, the RA individual 30-minute interview will occur. And in February, your portfolio, if you make it that far in the process, will be due. And there will be more information provided as you go along in the process. And in April, candidates will be notified of their status. How to apply, you can see the screenshots here where you can click on employment leadership, right? And then from there, you'll see the RA position on the bottom for the 21-20 year. Again, here are some handles to follow at Riverview, at Sac State AMC, and at Sac State Housing. We're going to continue to have more posts and have more information there. And if you have questions or concerns or anything else that you would like to share, you can email us at uhs-jobs@csus.edu. Thank you for your time.